Don't get me wrong, I'm all for being humble, but I love it when music artists say stuff like, tell the label I won't sign for nothing less than 2 M's. Hey, listen, shout out H on that one, yeah? Then we got, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man, from the original music hustler, Jay-Z. Can you guess this one though? Rushing me to sign, I kept telling her to chill. I knew that with patience we would get a bigger deal when I was right because we got more than a meal. Of course, that's Stefflon Don. Now, I didn't share these examples for no reason. What we can see from these lyrics is these music artists know their worth and refuse to settle for less. Can you do the same? This is our quick set on the art of negotiation, equipping you to get a deal you desire in your career, personal life, or any situation where negotiations could occur. As you work your way through the next few minutes, make a note of this list. You'll realize all 8 points are important when landing the ideal negotiation. First of all, do your research on the other person. Secondly, identify your goals. It's important that you enter negotiations knowing what you want to get out of an agreement and how much you're willing to compromise. Thirdly, consider the opinions of others. Listening to what they're saying and asking for or not saying is absolutely vital. Fourth, understand your strengths and your weaknesses. Fifth, build your confidence. Your inner voice is saying, you can do this. Sixth, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from any mistakes. Practice, practice, practice. Then we say, don't rush. Be in control and take your time. And finally, consider how the other party will benefit from an arrangement. To demonstrate the power of effective negotiation, we talk to the one and only Stefflon Don.
This one's for you, Lewis. Stefflon Don, lovely meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you doing today, okay?
I'm very good.
Good to hear. Right, let's jump straight into it. I think a lot of people would say that you're renowned for the fact that you was able to negotiate such an amazing deal with a record label once you decided to sign. I'd love to find out from yourself though, what would you say the 2 key reasons were for you to be able to negotiate such an amazing deal?
I had a deal on the table for I think almost a year prior to signing.
Right.
So I had a couple of labels wanting to sign me. And I think I wasn't just signing that quickly. So they kind of just said, okay, whatever you want.
Right.
And then the deal was done. So I think
Okay,
I was
just straight in there.
I was just popping at the time, really popping. And they was like, I need you.
Nice one.
What I gotta do.
Do what
I was like, give me that milli, you know?
Sweet, okay, I can take that answer. And I guess the second question I have for you then is, when you are in those situations, when you're negotiating a deal, whether it be record label, business, as I know you're an entrepreneur, what would you say you do or keep in mind to ensure that both parties are satisfied? So you're happy and the business or whoever you're doing business with are satisfied? I'm
not entrepreneur yet.
Soon to be,
hopefully. But it's hard work. Don't just, that entrepreneur word.
It's a strong one, isn't it?
That means you're successful in numerous businesses, numerous businesses. But I've only got about 2, so.
Well, you're making legway.
We're getting there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But how do you make sure they're happy and you're happy? I feel like it depends how bad the person approaching you wants it.
Right.
And then it's also you standing your ground and knowing your worth.
Yeah.
So sometimes, obviously, people either can't afford to budge on the numbers I want, and then I have to see, is it beneficial to me? So I think it's vice versa. They'll think, is it beneficial to them? Is it beneficial to me to do it? And if we go back and forth and then we figure out, actually, this is not the right thing to do, we won't. If it is, then we will.
Nice.
So it just depends. But never take the first offer.
I like that. Brilliant. Steph, it's been a pleasure. Lovely meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Thank you.
Let's say a big thanks to Stefflon Don. We appreciate her sharing her story with us. As with many things, effective negotiation requires preparation. You need to arm yourself with certain information that will help to guide your position and your approach to the negotiation. To effectively negotiate, there needs to be a clear understanding of what both parties want, need, and to understand if they have already made steps towards achieving their objectives. If so, then you may seek to complement that or point out certain flaws that may exist in their current operation. So now let's talk about the language that we need to use when negotiating, because the way we articulate ourselves is going to be very important if we're going to achieve the desired outcome. So let's play a little game. What you're going to see is me and a few of my amazing Apprentice Nation friends showing you some different language that we might use in different negotiation situations. The first stage is starting the dialogue. Let's see if you can guess which one is the correct way to start the dialogue.
I know that you haven't got any plans for solving this problem, so you need this, right?
So let's cut to the chase. How much are you willing to spend on this kind of solution?
In solving this problem, what would be ideal versus what would be acceptable for you? So let's move into stage 2. Of course, we started the dialogue, but now we need to actually move into making the proposal. So let's see if you can guess which one of these lines is the best way to articulate yourself when negotiating at this stage. This is what I'm offering. Take it or leave it right now.
I've tried to get as close to your ideal outcome as possible, so let me talk you through it.
I was thinking maybe that you might be interested in this if, we can make it work for you.
And now we're into stage 3, receiving a counter offer. So this is where you may have made your proposal and the person you're negotiating with has come back and suggested an alternative offer. Let's see if you can guess which one of my amazing team has articulated themselves in the best way at this stage.
Get out of here, you're taking the mick, man. Are you being serious?
Have you ever done this kind of deal before? I shouldn't even take you serious for that.
Thanks for your counter, but I feel like we need to meet closer to my offer because...
When negotiating, we must use language that demonstrates and reinforces our respect for the other party. People really do buy from people, so put the person before the deal. Now, preparing for negotiating and conversing effectively is great. There's more to consider, however. We want to cover as many bases as possible so that we aren't caught out. To help walk you through these considerations, I spoke with an absolute guru, Jonathan Plows, Head of Sales Channels at Suntory. Is there an ideal formula to getting the perfect outcome from a negotiation? What would you say to that, John?
The ideal scenario that you want to leave the negotiation with, you both want to feel satisfied, and that is what you need to achieve at the end of the discussion. There is no point in one person winning or gaining the advantage by getting all the value and the other person or company getting nothing, because that means that agreement is likely to fall over at some point. So the ideal scenario is both parties feeling satisfied.
What does negotiation for you look like on a day-to-day basis? What might you be negotiating?
You negotiate over things of value. You negotiate with our customers in terms of the margin on our product.
Amazing.
The extra support on our product. So what advertising we're going to put behind it. How are we going to support the products in store? What promotions you're going to run, and you negotiate over that.
100%. Oh, that's amazing.
Outside of that, you're negotiating every day. People always want a piece of your time or your team's time, and they want them to do other pieces of work. And a lot of the time, you can be negotiating over how much time you're going to spend on certain projects, because we need to focus the teams in the right area. So there's a lot of internal negotiation as well as external as well. What you need to do, the best advice I would say is think about like a wet towel. If you're wringing out a wet towel, the first time you wring it out, you get loads of water that comes out. So your first move needs to be quite bold, yeah? And then after that, every time you wring that towel, you get less and less water that comes out. So by the time you've wrung it out 4 or 5 times, there's only little bits coming out. So you're slowly, in ever decreasing amounts, getting towards their break point. And every time, because you're only giving them a small amount, the other party thinks, I'm squeezing them really hard. They can't do much more. They're only giving me little bits. And psychologically, they think they're driving you really hard. But if you've planned those moves, and it's really important to plan them, you plan them in ever decreasing amounts.
For some people, they might be watching this and the negotiation they're doing might not be business related. It could be anything to do with life. So, where possible, what does that look like in terms of knowing what to add or subtract from negotiations?
I think it comes down to listening. Okay, so if you listen to the other party and you understand what the other party wants and what's important to them, then you can link some of your requests to what they want. So, for example, look, if you're, let's say you're paying rent every month, you say, look, I know that I need instead of paying it on the 21st of the month, I don't get paid until the 28th. So can I pay you on the 1st? However, if I pay you on the 1st, instead of giving you a check, I know that's quite old school, but I can give you either cash or I can transfer it directly into your bank. So think about what's important to the other party, because it might not just be around timing, it might be around the speed that they can get access to the money, for example.
We got some absolute gems from Jonathan there. But what about in your day-to-day life though? Say you're negotiating rent with your landlord and you're willing to take responsibility for dealing with certain household fixes within a pre-agreed budget that's been allocated, per month or per year. The fact that you're actually taking this responsibility on may mean that you could get a discount on your rent. Or maybe you're negotiating your salary at work. If you're able to demonstrate the way that you're adding value beyond what your job description details, then you can probably pitch a higher figure for what you think you should be paid. And if it isn't matched, then you can just be honest about your employer not expecting so much of you because you're already doing stuff beyond your job description. You might even be trying to negotiate the amount of time you spend with family and friends. If you can commit to doing a whole day or even a whole weekend every few months, then you may not be expected to do, weekly or fortnightly meetups for a couple of hours in an evening. On the screen now are a list of negotiation skills that you could benefit from developing. Communication, strategizing, planning, persuasion, listening, problem solving, relationship building, and emotional intelligence. Take a moment to think about which of these you are already strong at and which of these skills you need to develop. Be sure to take advantage of more from Apprentice Nation that will help you in this particular area. Here are a couple of quick sets I recommend: selling an idea in 60 seconds and how to make great first impressions. Final tip from me: in successful negotiations, both parties win. Of course, you can always book a mentor session and spend time directly with an industry leader who can advise on negotiation techniques. I'll see you on another set soon. And in the words of John F. Kennedy, remember, let us never negotiate out of fear, but never let us fear to negotiate.